Hello, I'm NERFALOT and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's my second video and this one's going to be it's going to have to be a lot shorter than my first because my battery's about to die and I'm shooting one video straight after the other. But I'd like to just get this idea out there quickly, so I'm going to see if I can run through this as quickly as possible and then I'll make future videos that go into a bit more detail. Anyway, this second project that I'm working on at the same time as the Artemis Sniper Blaster is all to do with the Nemesis. Now, as you'll probably know, well, I found that the Nemesis is probably the most fun you can have with a Nerf blaster. They are amazing. So I've been debating for a long time now whether to actually buy one because they're really expensive. But I finally gave in when I saw on a guy who's got a YouTube channel. I've mentioned before, he's called He's got his own YouTube channel. He does amazing tutorials, videos, and he has his own shop, an Etsy shop, and he's from America. And he had a modified Nemesis that he was selling. So I finally gave in and I ordered it. It took ages to get here, but I had to have this one because really I can't see how Hasbro can make a blaster any more fun than this. With all their new ranges that are coming out, this is a game changer for me. And yeah, it's just an amazing blaster. So quickly running through, this runs off a 3S LiPo, so it's been fully rewired inside. I know next to nothing about the electrics with blasters. I started on modifying springers and I'm going to be learning, or I have been learning, about electric power blasters, which are flywheel blasters. There's two wheels at the front of the guns and they spin round, powered by electric, and they fling the balls out. So it's not powered by compression or spring, it's powered by the speed and strength and torque of the flywheels at the front of the blasters. And this is probably the beast of them all. Anyway, it didn't come with a battery, so I've had to order a battery, which is why I'm so excited because my battery has arrived. It runs off a 3S LiPo. It's got, I think it's 16 gauge or 18 gauge. I think it's 16 gauge wire, which means it's a much thicker wire. Switches and resistors and things inside have been upgraded, so it's basically fully ready to basically just put in the best battery you can. I already know that the battery that I bought is going to be too powerful for me to run this in our Nerf wars. I've limited it to primary school children, but they are forced to, well, their parents are forced to stay and play with them. So maybe I might be using it. Maybe I'll go on the children's team against the adults, and then that might be a bit of fun. Anyway, if you do want to come to one of our Nerf wars, our Facebook page is New Ash Green Nerf Club, and we run a Nerf war every month, and all the information is on there. And it'd be great to have. We've got lots of new people every time. But we're always, and hopefully by doing these videos, that will also bring more people into the Nerf Club and attending the Nerf Wars, so we can just get bigger and bigger and have more fun. Anyway, check that out. Thanks a lot. Let's get back to the blaster. So, Nemesis. What else have I got to say about it? Yeah, I bought it so that I didn't have to modify it, because this would be the craziest thing to start electrically modifying. I did actually start modifying electric blasters, which I have used in the Nerf wars. Basically just not actually rewiring or doing internal modification like that. What I have done so far is dribbling out battery trays so that I can run IMR batteries. Look that up on YouTube. They're really great batteries that are basically high drain batteries. So they overvolt the blaster. So, for example, I ran a rapid strike on 2 IMRs and 2 dummy batteries. So, and that just screams. It absolutely screams when you just by running that small amount of extra power compared to something like this. I've also done the same with a fearless fire for my daughter. Again, 2 dummy batteries and 2 IMRs. I think there were, if you want to know, I think there were IMR 14500s. They're the ones that are probably best. Things like 18, they go up to different numbers, like 18650, but when I bought them specifically for the same mod, but when I tried to put the batteries in, the actual batteries are far too big to go in the tray. You need to then buy bigger trays and then rewire that. So I bought, I think the biggest you can get in IMRs, I may be wrong, but I found that our 14500 batteries that will fit in the stock battery trays with a little bit of dremeling out, just literally the ends of the battery trays where they connect, just so they make a connection, because the buttons on the end of the batteries are shorter than standard batteries. So you have to take away the plastic so that they touch. But anyway, that was a fearless fire. I did that, a rapid strike and a demolisher, and they worked fine with the stock wiring that came with the blasters out of the box. So, but this is a completely different animal. Because it has been completely rewired internally, we can then put a massive power source through this and it won't burn the motors out, it won't catch on fire, hopefully. We're going to find out. Okay, so anyway, although I bought this and I didn't do the work on this, based on my other project that I've got running at the moment, which was the Artemis Sniper, really it was playing with barrels again. And I had another Centurion. This one wasn't broken and sitting in a cupboard. This one was actually working fine. But I just had to have the barrel off of it. So I now have a Centurion shotgun, but it does mean I was able to get another Centurion barrel because rival rounds fit through a Centurion barrel and they fit well. So this got me thinking, could I make similar sort of idea to the Artemis Sniper blaster, but whereas that is a single shot, well, it actually came out as a shotgun, so it's multiple, but it's supposed to be a single shot, spring powered sniper blaster. Could I make a fully automatic sniper blaster? They're not rifles, they're blasters. Sorry, Hasbro. Okay, so what I thought was, well, when I actually looked, the size, the inner diameter of the barrel of the Nemesis is the biggest barrel that I've seen in Nerf so far. So I have experimented in the past. You'll see in an upcoming video of the first project I ever did, which was a long shot build. I used copper tubing. I don't know how readily it is in America, but in England, when I went to the DIY shop to source barrels based on tutorials that I'd seen based in America, where they had things like CPVC, have a lot more access to brass over there. But over here, it seems like the main things you can buy in hardware shops are copper barrels, copper tubes, sorry. They tend to come in, what I found, 15mm, 22mm and 28mm. Now, 15mm was just too small for anything. You'll see in my long shot build the fails that I had in that. And 22mm was fine for darts, but for rival rounds, I found that they will fit through a 28mm copper tube. So I had the idea of cutting a 28mm copper tube. It's about this length. It's about the same sort of length as the as you can see. Well, it's about the same sort of length as the Nemesis blaster, but what I've done is the 28mm copper tube will fit inside the barrel of the Centurion, and what I have done is used an olive ring, which is a 28mm olive ring for these tubes, and I've placed one at the beginning of the barrel, at the beginning of the barrel and at the end of the barrel to stabilise the copper pipe or copper tube inside the Centurion barrel, so it centres the barrel perfectly. And it was just wasn't quite tight enough, so I just put a one circumference of electrical tape around it, and that now fits. Well, it's friction fit, so I pushed it on. It's not glued on, but I can twist it off. But it literally pushes on, and it doesn't fall. It doesn't slide around. So that is the basis for my Centurion Nemesis fully automatic sniper blaster. As I said, inside I would take it out, but it's really not necessary. As you can see, the end of the copper tube goes to just before the muzzle, so you can't actually see the tube unless you're looking down it. So as you can see, it's there, but you can see it down the tube. So one O-ring this end, one O-ring that side, with that end. Electrical tape round once, and that centres it nicely. And then back here, this is where it fits inside the barrel of the Nemesis at the end. And here, what I've done, because when this goes all the way back inside the barrel towards the hopper mechanism and the feeding mechanism from the hopper to the barrel, there is a little sort of rubber flap from the top, and there is like another plastic ring that the balls sit in before they go through the ring and then go through the barrel, which in this case I want them to go through the tube. But what happened was, and I haven't tested it, but I just noticed that where the copper tube is centered, it lifted the whole barrel slightly up, so the barrel was in the center, sort of suspended in air of the barrel of the Nemesis. So what I've done is used, as it goes in, there's a little rubber flap that pushes down, and it's like about a third that goes round, and as the balls go through, I think it stops the balls from flying up. But by pushing the copper tube through, it actually pushed the flap, as it goes through, it actually pushes the flap on top, so it lays on top of the copper tube. Now, because of the weight of the barrel, because it's metal, copper obviously, because of the weight of the front, it was still lifting up the barrel, and so it was still slightly lifting up above the plastic ring that's inside. I'm trying to use the olive ring to simulate the plastic ring that's actually inside the Nemesis. So I was worried that as the balls were on the feeding mechanism, they would hit the bottom of the copper tube. So what I did was, instead of running electrical tape all the way around on the end of this barrel, I've put about 8 or 9 or 10, can't quite remember, layers of electrical tape in a semicircle, so 180 degrees round at the top, centered along the barrel. So that way, with the extra tape, when I push this inside the barrel of the Nemesis, the rubber flap that's inside the barrel of the Nemesis will push the copper tube down with the extra tape, and now the bottom of the copper tube will sit flush with the plastic ring that's inside the Nemesis, and that's important because the Nemesis is gravity fed. So the most important thing isn't getting the the balls centered in the barrel, it's getting the bottom of the tube flush with the bottom of the barrel inside the Nemesis. That way, when the balls are pushed through by the feeding mechanism, they should just run straight out of the Nemesis into the copper tube and fly straight out. Now, the more observant among you, i.e. everybody, will notice that my clothes have just changed. Now, this is this is absolutely nothing to do with my battery running out and me having to come back and finish this video a different day. And I definitely didn't manage to finish the whole video for this for this blaster in 2 takes instead of 21 takes, like the Artemis sniper rifle. That never happened. I definitely wasn't really proud of myself, and then absolutely gutted when I got up, went to look at the footage, and the camera on my phone had stopped filming because the battery had died. So obviously none of that's true. I'm simply a wizard and I use magic, because otherwise, could you imagine how frustrating it would have been to have put all that work in for nothing?
You're a wizard, Harry.
But they do say you learn the most from your mistakes, which means I've learnt loads. Right, now, my battery has arrived. This is the one I asked out of darts what was the most powerful battery I could run in this blaster, and this is the one he recommended. Now it's a Turnigy, or Turnigi, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, 11.1 volt 3S LiPo. It's 2,200 milliamps, and it has a constant of 65 C and a burst of 130 C. Now that's important from my limited understanding of batteries and electrics in general, because I think that the C rating is the oomph of the battery, which should translate into how much torque the flywheels have, which means the force of the ammo flying through the air. So let's open this battery and put it in the blaster. So first of all, as you see, it comes in quite a nice packaging, lots of foam, and comes in quite a spectacular case, like a sunglasses case. Lots of protection. Right, so this is the battery, and it's quite special. It's very chunky, very heavy. So let's put this in the blaster. Just so I mentioned, this is probably the tool that you will most use when you're modding in Nerf. I think I got this out of a cracker, and this little screwdriver has been the tool that I've used the most out of any tool that I've bought for Nerf. So let's put this battery in the blaster. Right. Got the one screw at the back. Attaches, it's XT60 attachments. Just pushes in like that. Sits nicely in the battery tray. Close that up. Screw that down. Okay, it should be alive now. So take the safety off. So now when I rev it, it should work. Let's give it a go. As you can hear, very loudly, it works. So before I attach the barrel to this blaster, I'm just going to do a firing test to see how this performs with the internal modifications that have been made with the massive, well, one of the most powerful batteries that you can put in a blaster like this. I'm going to see how that performs first, and then I'm going to attach the barrel that I've made, and then go from there and perform some more firing tests. So let's get on with this. Right, so as you may have noticed from my previous video, the whiteboard markers didn't work very well on the boards. They weren't very clear. So this time I set up a Nerf target, and I've got some, let's turn that on first. Turn it on to its range thing. It's number 3. and also I've got some targets here that are self-writing. So you just click that. This is my favourite one, as it talks to you in Japanese. So it keeps score as well. So we go back to the end of the room. Again, I've put a measure tape on the floor, and as you can see, we're back at 35 feet. Where is it? 35. Yeah, and that's where the table is. So I'm going to sit down, hold the Nemesis like this, and that way it should be fairly stable, and just hold it up. So, okay, let's just try a couple of single shots, see how hope it's not too loud. Apologise for the earphone users. Right. I mean, some of them are flying straight ahead, but other ones are literally flying straight up and hitting the ceiling before they've hit the wall where the targets are. So what I'm going to do now is attach the barrel and see if that improves the accuracy. Hopefully it will. Okay, so I've attached the barrel, as you can see. And now I just wanted to show you, before I start firing it, the important bit which I was trying to explain earlier. Down here is where the tube, where that plastic ring I was talking about is. Try and hold the camera as still as possible. And as you can see, the copper tube sits absolutely flush with that ring. So hopefully there should be no issues with feeding or firing. So let's put this back in now. And hopefully this barrel should improve. That issue we had is so long. Right, let's put these down. Let's see if that helps. Oh, let's be proper snipery. It's so long. Okay, the bipod is down. God, it's so long. Oh dear. Okay, maybe push the table forward a little. Okay, right. Okay, so hopefully you can see along the barrel. It's a lot longer than the other rifle. So let's see if this barrel can help with the accuracy. So first of all, I'm going to aim for the target suspended on the whiteboard, see if I can hit that. I'm just going to, and again, I'm just going to do single shots. Help if I take the safety off. Right, here we go. Okay, so straight away, I'm noticing it is helping with the accuracy. I've not had a single shot rise up and hit the ceiling yet, so that's an improvement. It has decreased the power. They're not firing quite as hard as before, which isn't a bad thing, but that may be to do with the barrel drag. Seems though there is a barrel, the barrel is the length of the blaster again. So anyway, let's see if we can hit some of these targets below on the table. So. Okay, so we're out of rounds, but I did manage to hit one of the targets. I mean, a lot of this has to do with your proficiency with the blaster, and it's very new to this blaster. But what I am happy with is that not one of those rounds flew up and hit the ceiling. So although I didn't manage to hit all the targets like I wanted to, it performed how I wanted it to perform. I've just got to get better at using the blaster. But I'm just going to set this down so you can see how long this is. Yeah, that's pretty long. So I think now what I'm going to do is fill it up with 100 balls and see how fast it empties the magazine. Okay, so first of all, I've had to put in another table because this blast is just too long for one table. So I'm now going to do a full auto test. I've counted 100 rifle balls there in the hopper. You see? I've counted them, so there's 100 there. I'm just going to rev it up to its so it's revving as high as possible, and then I'm just going to hold the trigger and then put the timer on later when I edit this video and see what the time is. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I had 3 left. So however long it takes. 1, 2, 3. So it seemed pretty fast. So I have to have a look at that back. But just really the feel of the blaster. It feels like a blaster. It feels like something you want to lay down and fire, like a proper sniper. Yeah, it really feels that way. It doesn't feel like something you really want to run around and wield, but it definitely feels like something that you want to lay down with. Yeah, that sounds weird, but lay down with on your stomach and fire a lot from the floor, really. It feels like that type of thing. Even firing it from a table feels a bit weird. Just because of the length of it, I suppose. I think if I was laying down and I had the stock in my shoulder, it would feel even more secure. But that's just the initial thoughts on it. But I mean, it is literally a beast. The battery is performing amazingly. And obviously the work that Out of Darts did to the internal modifications is really using the full performance of that battery, I feel. It's literally a dart hose, as you could see. Secondly, really, I'd say that although there is a notable decrease in power, there is a substantial increase in accuracy. And for me, that's worth the trade-off. I could probably experiment with having a shorter barrel, to be honest, maybe half the length of the barrel that I've got, just to stop that issue really of the ammo just flying up and hitting the ceiling as soon as it comes out of the blaster without any barrel in there. But yeah, I'm definitely happier with some form of barrel on the end of it than nothing with this massive increase in power, because there's just no point in having that much power if you're having such a decrease in accuracy. So the initial idea has worked. I say it's been a success, but definitely lots to work on. And yeah, I'll take some photos and put that up. Hopefully see you all in the next video.